Welcome to English 281, Writing about Literature. Most of the literature courses you'll take in the English department will require you to write an essay about literature in your class readings. In English 281, Writing about Literature, our class readings are essays about literature, which we will discuss here in depth. Our lectures, tutorials, and practical exercises, meanwhile, will focus on sharpening and strengthening your own craft as a writer of literary scholarship, and particularly as a writer of analytical, argumentative, and critical essays about literature. In short, this class will guide you through some excellent examples of written literary scholarship while training you to learn from those examples in order to generate excellent written literary scholarship of your own. And we'll do it all without assigning you much to write outside class. English 281 is a new process-based course. We're testing out new techniques here that respect your time, your individuality, and your intelligence. There will be much hard work to do, readings, discussions, ongoing exercises in and out of class, and intensive training in various skills, as well as a collaborative writing project. But all of it goes toward preparing you to write for the future, rather than for this class. This class will help you understand why we write all these essays in the first place, which will make you a better writer and thinker. Every professor in the English department writes about literature for their life's calling, as much as for our livelihood. Every professor takes a different approach to the process and purpose of writing about literature, and thus every professor you have will have different expectations for you when you write an essay for their class. And that's why the primary course readings in writing about literature will be 7 essays in literary criticism, interpretation, and analysis published by English department faculty, usually paired with guest appearances by the 7 profs who will each give their own take about the process and purpose of writing about literature. Each week, usually prompted by our discussion of a different professor's work of literary scholarship, though not always, we will focus on a different key element of essay writing, a different criterion. Those criteria are tone, precise wording, grammatical clarity, close reading, specificity, that's this coming week, innovation, stakes, logical rigor, focus and organization, depth, complexity, and grammatical economy. English 281 will help you understand the humanities essay as a training ground for future writing and for critical work, applicable across multiple fields, careers, and discourses. We are here to help you weave your other university classes' writing assignments, past and future and present, into a coherent training program, enhanced by variations in instructors' expectations, right? So rather than, oh, this one professor wants one thing, the other one wants the other thing, that's the point, right? You're taking all of the differences and weaving them together into a trajectory of writing training for you. We're going to help you do that, right? We will help you weave your other university classes' writing assignments into a coherent training program, enhanced by variations in instructors' expectations in ways that will strengthen your writing style, your argumentation, and your verbal clarity well beyond the university. We will also offer ample office hours here, where we can work with you individually according to your needs, your tastes, strengths, and weaknesses at every level, perhaps by drilling fundamentals of English grammar where necessary, or by helping you understand comments made on papers from other classes, or by following you into a deep philosophical dive into the very idea of good writing, or by simply helping you find your voice. Something very important I want to emphasize about our course: it is called Writing About Literature, both because it will train you to write about literature, and because it will introduce you to, teach you about, and ask you to think deeply through 7 exemplary works of writing about literature. It's easy to forget that second part, the fact that you are here to read writing about literature, because the first part, the writing training, is so much more complicated. But we are here, you are here, for both. And this is the first, though because of technical difficulties it may be the second, of 21 short pre-recorded lecture modules that you've got to watch across the course of our semester working together. Normally, when the pandemic isn't happening, I include about a half hour to 40 minutes worth of pure lecturing of me talking to you in each 2-hour session of English 281 before I open things up for discussion and bring in our guest speaker, etc. There's no reason for us to do that lecturing in real time on Zoom, and you stare at Zoom enough in a given week. So I'm doing my usual lectures in this pre-recorded form, so you can watch it at whatever time is most convenient for you. Because we've lobbed that half hour off of our Wednesday class sessions, I will be opening our Wednesday sessions at 10:30 a.m. rather than 10 a.m. each Wednesday during the pandemic. So you're responsible for watching lectures like this one before our Wednesday classes meet. Don't skip these. They offer material essential to the progression of the course, and you'll likely be quizzed on some of the material from these pre-recorded lectures or asked to respond to them when we meet in real time. I'll be devoting the first 15-20 minutes of our full class Wednesday meetings to any questions or comments you have about material, particularly material from the prior week. So every student should come to class ready to ask or comment on something they've seen or heard, either here or in my lecture on specificity. This welcome lecture is here to introduce you to our course, to go over our syllabus and basic course policies. If you've already looked over the syllabus on our website, you should still watch this lecture through. Ours is an unusual course, so it's very important that you know what you're getting into. And I'll be offering helpful comments on much of the syllabus material here. So I've uploaded everything for our course onto our course website, premodernity.net/ENG281-home. This is your home base. If you have a password prompted to get in, the password is always CLEAR_SINCERE. Clear_sincere. All right. And here we are. This page contains all the material that would normally be on a course syllabus, including our schedule of readings and assignments, as well as broader course policies, all assignment prompts, and other useful information. We'll be going through the material on this front page primarily today. You should follow the right-click or command-click here commands for any items you feel need further explanation once we're done. So here I am, very meta. I am your professor, Matthew Sergi. You can call me Professor Sergi, you can call me Matthew, and you can contact me at sergi.utoronto@gmail.com. But I encourage you to approach me in office hours. Again, click here for times and location, and to consult this website thoroughly first. A word on office hours that you'll see if you do click here. Some office hours are drop-in only, meaning no appointment. Some office hours are appointment only, meaning I'll only show up to meet you if you make an appointment ahead of time. That's all spelled out here. Make sure you click on it because office hours are a huge part of this class. Your TA will also have office hours as well, which they'll work out with you independently. I'll only be able to answer emails sent to sergi.utoronto@gmail.com for this class. If you send an inquiry about this class to another email address of mine, it will likely be delayed or missed. By the way, I always link you to the student FAQ that I provide, though that FAQ has not been updated for the 2020-2021 pandemic. Hopefully, I used to just have a 2020 pandemic. Now I've extended it. Hopefully, I won't have to extend it again. Your TA for English 281 will either be Angela Du or Rachel Windsor. They'll be in touch with you immediately after the first day of tutorial, as they have. If you're watching this lecture, you've hopefully already met Angela or Rachel. If not, please contact either of them at those email addresses right now. Try to connect with a TA who corresponds to your tutorial group. If you can't figure out how to do that, or if for some reason you have no tutorial group, choose one and contact her. Again, as I've sent in emails, tutorials are absolutely required for this class. You cannot pass without being enrolled in them from the beginning. All this is especially important because after week 2, all our communication with you will be done by email, not through Quercus. All right. And as I say, you must enroll in a tutorial session to take English 281. Whoop, oh, sorry about that. Next, what we're here to do, course description. That's what I said to you at the beginning of this lecture. So we've already come past it. We've already embarked on our first week's schedule, our weekly routine class times and Zoom links. Please do look at the breakdown of a typical week in English 281 if you haven't already. And remember, all necessary Zoom links are always available right here. Right? Links to get into your tutorials and links to get into our full class meetings. If you should get into a situation where you can't get into one tutorial for whatever reason, enter a different one. Here's something important. If you join our course late, you are still responsible for material you missed. Similarly, if you miss a class, you are responsible for the material you missed. It's not just a done deal, right? You do have an absence limit, which we'll talk about in a moment, but you're taking the fullness of this course. If you miss a session, you have to seek out and get the stuff you missed, or else you lose some credit. You can assess the material that we assess the material you missed via weekly in-class sentence prompts And you can right-click here for more information on that should it become necessary. All right, by the way, up to 3, actually up to 4, because of the pandemic, of the real-time sessions you missed prior to registration will not count toward your attendance limit. So you may be watching this as a late attendance person or as a late registrant. Don't worry. The attendance limit is not affected by your late registration, but you do have to seek out the material you missed. Most importantly, again, email your TA immediately. English 281. Oh, one thing I should add. Yes, the current structure of our course is built on the assumption that Toronto Public Elementary Schools would remain open throughout term. As it stands at the recording of this lecture, Toronto Elementary Schools are not open. They're only meeting online, which makes me a co-primary caregiver for 2 lovely girls who may come into this room at any point during our classes or during these pre-recorded lectures. I ask for your patience, understanding, and flexibility with changes to our course. We're all in this together. All right, English 281 is all about office hours. Your TA will hold about 2 hours of online office hours per week, and I will hold 75 minutes on top of that, sometimes again in drop-in, sometimes by appointment. That's a lot of office hours for a course this size. Again, click for scheduling information. And the reason for that is because the elements of English 281 that focus on improving your skill as a writer are best done in one-on-one advisement or in small groups. We encourage every student to attend office hours as frequently as you can. It is at office hour sessions that we'll invite you to talk through the course material with us, to work on troubleshooting your writing or developing your writing process, and this is my favorite at least, to work on your writing assignments from other classes. Yes, if you're struggling with something in another class, you can count us, me and your TAs, as ad hoc writing tutorial or writing tutors for that class. We're here to give you another perspective and help weave those assignments again into an overall trajectory of how to write an essay. In English 281, our office hours are essentially personal writing tutorials, allowing you to close one-on-one training with a professional academic writer. Take advantage of this resource. We strongly recommend that the final one-on-one meeting should not be your only meeting with your TA or me. If you don't meet with us actively throughout term, you're not going to get the most out of the class. If you can't make at least some of the office hours times that one or the other of us, me or your TA, currently has scheduled, email me right away so that I can fix. Moving on. There's our English 281 Google Drive file and YouTube channel. This is straightforward, and they're linked right here. So too with our English 281 schedule of readings and assignments. You'll want to bookmark this separately because you'll be referring to it every week to see what to do next. Make sure to check the site itself, not to print it out. It will likely change a bit as we go. Here, let's open it here for a second just for your reference. Right, this is what the schedule looks like. This is our week 1, and you'll see here, you are here watching lecture 281-0. Welcome, and you should also watch the specificity lecture before we meet on Wednesday, January 13, and it'll go from there. Look always at what you are preparing for that week every week and return to this website when you do. Your course requirements. Right at the top of the list is engagement and participation in tutorial and full class Zoom sessions and actual attendance. You must be logged on in real time during at least 19 of our 23 required Zoom sessions. That includes both tutorials and full class sessions. You can miss 4 sessions, not counting the sessions that you missed from late registration, before I deduct credit, as follows right here. Sessions missed for any reason in excess of 4, regardless of the reason, will result in the grade deduction that I have here. There are no excused or unexcused absences here, and thus no need for you to submit documentation or proof. Yes, this is a very unpredictable time. Yes, you still must attend all or most of our class meetings in real time and contribute actively to a good number of their discussions in order to participate in the most fundamental and crucial elements of this class. Even now, during the pandemic, yes, especially now during the pandemic. If you feel concerned that you may not be able to fulfill these very specific, very clear, very lenient, but very set in stone engagement and participation and actual attendance requirements for any reason, or if you have a situation of any kind that affects participation or attendance, I strongly advise you to click on and read carefully the links under one of these items. Actually, both of these links go to the same place. They both link to the same page, which give you more about my reasoning on this course policy, as well as the nuts and bolts of the course policy. It'll also link you to my FAQ, which will explain the pedagogical reasoning behind the course policy. If none of that settles your questions or concerns here, please email me. That covers 25%, 15 plus 10, of your grade for our course. The rest we'll learn as we go, but at the end of each Wednesday session, you'll have a real-time sentence prompt. I'll explain this in more detail on Wednesday, but there will be 12 of them for 12 of our classes, and all 12 prompts will add up to the 24% portion of your grade. After our first Wednesday session, this coming Wednesday, I'll also assign you the first of 4 pre-tutorial exercises. Again, I'll explain those as they come. So too with the 20-minute one-on-one TA meeting, which is just an exit interview essentially. You can click on the links to any of those for more info if you wish, or you can put it off until the time comes. But here is the true capstone assignment of our course, the Collaborative Scholarly Paper, or CSP. Except for our ongoing readings, it is the CSP that will dominate the second half of our term. You will be working on it for the final 6 weeks. As I said at the beginning of this lecture, we will do our writing training in this class without assigning you much to write outside class, because we're process-based here. Our hope is not to drill writing skills over and over again, but to slow down and break apart whatever your essay assignment, or whatever your essay writing habits currently are, so you can better understand them and hone them. In the CSP, and you can click here for more on it, you will be writing an 8 to 10 page paper collaboratively with 5 to 7 other students, all working on the same paper. The text you'll be writing on will be one of 6 literary texts, which you'll be introduced to, however briefly, during the first 5 weeks of class. You've already seen the Carson poem, for instance. That's one option in your tutorial. You can click on the link here for more, but collaboration means working with fellow students. Ours is a workshop-based class. In that collaboration, know that some students will naturally end up doing more work than others. None, of course, will have to do more than what you usually do for an English class, which is write one essay, right? So even if one student wrote the essay single-handedly, which won't happen, it wouldn't be more work than you would have to do in any other class. What it is collaborative. If you're not willing to work collaboratively, you should drop this class. If you continue with your enrollment in this class, I take it to mean that you are willing to write collaboratively. I hope you will continue. You will be able to learn a lot from this CSP assignment. If you are less confident as an essay writer, it's the perfect opportunity to work alongside other essay writers to experience firsthand new ways to approach that task that you'll be given again and again and again. If you are more confident as an essay writer, in this case, you'll be forced to slow down your usual habit and pay painstakingly close attention to how you do and why you do what you do, making space for your habits to change and evolve. All you need to know now, because we're not starting this until week 5 and 6, it's vital that you know what you're here for and what you're in for, which is collaboration here in English 281. From there, the only required course text we have for you to purchase is Annabelle Sutar's Seeds, about which I've already emailed you periodically. If you've had any trouble getting hold of Seeds, worry not. We are going to discuss it on the first day, this coming Wednesday, but if you've had any issues accessing it, just bring it up on Wednesday. We'll figure it out. And I'll likely screen share a copy for us all to look at. We'll just be looking at the first couple of pages in class Wednesday, but weeks later we'll be reading the whole play. Beyond that, all readings will be available for you to download online and read or print out if you wish. Those that are not immediately accessible through your U of T library membership will be downloadable in PDF at our English 281 Google Drive file. And again, right-click here to access it. Finally, this is one of my favorite new things that I started for the pandemic, ongoing student feedback, especially necessary now that classes are so wonky and strange. Please feel free to weigh in on any problems or suggestions for our course at any time. You can do that by bringing it up, saying, this isn't working for me, emailing me, that's fine. Or, if you want, commenting anonymously. I've set up a Survey Monkey here. You can read more about it here. You can just click here at any time, and you don't have to wait until the end of term to give your opinion. You can give it now so we can adapt the course to fit. And I won't know who commented if that's what you want. So that covers most of what we need to know for our course. I'll end simply by reading through our English 281 course policies and practices. right, which I've already mostly covered. Again, what's on this front page is what you need to know to jump in. If you want further information or would like further information, just click on any of the links. So, I use Zoom, Google Apps, and Gmail, not Blackboard or Quarkus, for class announcements and contact. Make sure your email address is on our class list, and you do not have to use your UTOR address for that. Since all of our 281 assignments are process-based, collaborative, and/or delivered by presentation, the question of extensions on deadlines, for whatever reason, aren't really possible or relevant here. The only thing you'll be doing on your own is the 4 pre-tutorial exercises, so we just ask that you submit that by the assigned dates, but as long as you get them to your TA by the final class meeting, you'll get full credit with no penalty. Pretty straightforward. All right. All students must attend real-time Zoom class sessions at the time they are scheduled, including Monday tutorials and Wednesday full class sessions. The course attendance policy allows for 4 missed sessions before any points are deducted. After you have registered for English 281, if you miss more than 4 sessions, we will deduct points from your actual attendance grade, regardless of the reason. See above. There are no exceptions available for this attendance policy, no matter what. I never require proof, documentation, or any reason for a student's absence, and you can use your allowed number of absences for any reason. But if the allowed number is exceeded, I do deduct credit regardless of the reason. For now, only online meetings are, of course, available. But you can right-click here again for more. It'll take you to that same site. If you should miss a full class session for any reason, including illness, late registration, etc., you are responsible for making up that session's content and demonstrating your work via a make-up sentence prompt. Right? We have a sentence prompt every week. That is, if you've missed a Wednesday class, you have a make-up sentence prompt. If you missed a Monday class, it's your TA's choice. Active participation in class discussion in real time, that is, during the time the discussion is occurring, is a core requirement for all students in this course, with no exceptions. Every student must participate actively in tutorial discussion in order to earn course marks. Participation in full class sessions is not required, but encouraged and can significantly improve your participation grade. If you are someone who finds participation in conversation, whether in Zoom or in general, to be intimidating for whatever reason, do not worry. We have options for you. Click here. But you must take advantage of those options. This is not a class that you can pass without participating in the ongoing real-time discussion in some way. So make sure, if you are not able to speak up and pipe up in the Zoom conversations, that you click here for more. For students who may have trouble speaking up in discussion, when I say click here for more, I mean click here for more. For students who have trouble speaking up in discussion, whatever the reasons may be, and you don't have to tell me what they are, I offer alternative avenues for real-time participation, which earn equal participation credit toward course marks. These alternative avenues are custom-made for my classes and must be custom-fit somewhat to each student. So if you'd like to take advantage of those, you must contact me in office hours or by email. Request the alternative avenues as soon as possible. It's never too late to request them, but if you request them later than week 4, you might not be able to earn full participation credit. So definitely click here if that is you. In general, if you are a student who has difficulty speaking up in class or who wants extra help in English grammar or usage, including ESL and EFL, if you have a health consideration or atypical learning style that affects classwork, if you have trouble with or feel inadequately challenged by classwork, or if you're interested in investigating or applying to graduate school, I encourage you to approach me for an array of accommodations and course modifications that I offer to customize this course to your needs or your style. Just ask and click here for more. I offer accommodations and course modifications to any student who requests them by email within the first 3 weeks of class. I never require proof or documentation of a student's need for accommodation. The accommodations I offer will be customized to fit this course. If a different format would work better for you, just ask. Important. I do not ask you to provide me with the reason you need accommodation. Please do not. Just ask for what you need. Tell me what, not why. I will trust that you have good reasons. I cannot arrange accommodations or course modifications requested later than the 4th week of class, though if we should get into a bind that way, contact me, we'll work something out. Again, right-click or command-click here for more. All right, finally. Online meetings do still happen in real spaces with real voices and bodies. So, I still acknowledge that anyone who is participating in this class while on campus or near campus does so on the shared territory of many First Nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, under the Dish with One Spoon Treaty and under Treaty 13 between the Mississaugas and subsequent settlers. Those of us who are participating, like me, while in Scarborough/Toronto east of Woodbine Avenue, do so on lands additionally covered by the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. I do not offer this land acknowledgement to signal or advertise any political leaning or alignment on my part. It is simply an acknowledgement, gratefully, to the ancestral owners, inhabitants, and keepers of the place we do our work. So, now that you know what we are doing here and how we are doing it, don't forget to follow up on any of the links on the website if you require more explanation or information. And we're ready to go. Also, don't forget to bookmark the schedule of readings and assignments. I look forward to working with you this term and to meeting you on Wednesday morning. From here, if you haven't already, please continue to Lecture 281-1 Specificity. You can find that, as always, in our Google Drive file, on our YouTube channel, or just through the link that I emailed out via Quercus or that your TA has shared with you. Thanks. Looking forward.